Everybody, just a quick update. The factories in China are finally starting to send us samples, and we've got available material package samples. So obviously wrong printing, but check it out. This is what Panthro is going to look like. Lino, Wooden Blister, Mumra, and Jackalman. So what'll happen is, next up we'll get actual printing with actual figures inside. So this is the last step before we get the real final proto to go into production. So almost done with Thundercats. Check them out.
Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and hoping everybody's staying safe out there. But let's talk about some toys, let's talk about some action figures, some plastic, get our minds off all that craziness for 10 minutes or so, 15, however long this thing goes, because it's day 5 of being home with the kids all day. Okay, last week I talked about Jazzware spilling the beans on upcoming plans for an Agent Peely in their Fortnite Legendary Series line, because I had forgotten to mention it the week before, but we're bringing it all the way back around because I'm getting old and forgetful. I'm easily distracted by shiny pieces of plastic. But to bring it up again, I forgot to mention that they specifically told me that the Agent Peely would have different faceplates from the first version of Peely. So you can switch and swap between the two figures and you'd have more expressions for the both of them. More fun for both the naked and the sharp-dressed banana. There's a sentence I never thought I would say in all my years of doing this, but you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Fun's fun. Banana action figures. Another news item from last week was the Hasbro here we go. The Hasbro Star Wars Black Series GameStop exclusive Gamer Greats Force Unleashed Shadow Stormtrooper. A packaged picture of it was found on a UK site by Jason over at yakface.com, and this week he did a little bit more digging, and here's a loose picture of the figure. Oh, it looks so good in all the black and the electric blue translucent goodness. It's just, oh! I love the look of this thing, even though I have no personal connection to it. It's another trooper. What can I say? I'm always down for that. As for when it will actually hit GameStop, who knows, but it's fun to daydream about until that time comes. The Lim Toys Ahab figure was delayed before any of this craziness started, but that on top of it can't be helping things. They did hit socials this week to give us an update on this not Venom Snake that is definitely not from a Metal Gear Solid game. When the delay first happened, Lim Toys told us that they would work on updating some things like the weapons or the articulation in the boots, and the apparent range in the new feet have me giddy. Is it weird things like that can bring your excitement all the way back around? Something as simple as adding articulation to the ankle. Because of the delays, Ahab had been slowly going down the ladder, but I see, oh, what? He can move his feet! And it's boop, 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 boop. They also showed off some wrist movement in the hand, and then the final look for the head. Of course, it doesn't have the patch yet, but it does look pretty good. And then, just this morning, they posted Ahab in some pictures showing off some updated articulation. Natural looking one knee stance and then full elbow range. It's probably still a few months off, but the more I see of this, the more it looks to be worth the wait. Debuted at Toy Fair, this week Mezco officially solicited their 1/12th collective Planet of the Apes, Dr. Zaius. Little secret, I've never seen the original Planet of the Apes movies. I know. I seem to remember them coming on TV back in the day, back when I was a kid, but I guess I never sat my ass down and actually watched them. I know the property, and I know it has a following, and I know this looks fantastic. I just have no personal attachment to it. Saying all that, I can't deny that this looks like a good representation of the character. And the accessories aren't too shabby either. 2 sacred squirrels, a human doll, paper airplane, miniature lawgiver statue, walking cane, mini a hand, and 2 heads. One wondering how many Jazzware's Peely figures he needs, and the other realizing he'll never find as many as he wants. $85 should ship out at the end of the year. Bandai has posted a list of schedule changes due to the world's, well, current situation, and while it covers all their lines, we're just going to hit on the ones that I usually talk about on here, and that's SH Figuarts. I got an email from Ami earlier in the week saying the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn had been pushed, and when I went and checked the date, it said to be determined, and I thought, are they canceling it? Are they pushing it back? Is it due to the movie not doing as well as they thought it would? But later in the week, it changed to April. And I think it's the same for the SoulWeb exclusive anti-Auk armor Spider-Man. This list also has the Figuarts Avengers In-Game Rescue, Final Battle Captain America, and Iron Man Mark 85. I think the original release dates on these were April, but in the heading in the list, it says pushed to after May. And when I check AmiAmi, it says to be determined on all 3 figures, while HLJ lists them for June. So they're pushed to summer. That's probably the safest bet to go with. Sometime later. And then finally, the SoulWeb exclusive Street Fighter Sagat has been pushed from April to May. As with all things at the moment, subject to change, but if you have any pre-orders in for these, keep an eye on it, because yeah, you never know. At last weekend's La Mole Comic-Con in Mexico, Bandai debuted their SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Full Power Jiren and their Wonder Woman 84. Both are technically characters we already have in the Figuarts line, but there's been some changes. Jiren, of course, went full power, and his upper clothing couldn't handle the pressure. It's always weird whenever they power up and just their shirts blow off. I mean, this show also has a lot of kicking, so wouldn't their legs blow their pants off? And then for Wonder Woman, this seems, and I've been tricked before in the Figuarts line, it seems to be mostly reuse from the Justice League Wonder Woman. Her face may be different, and then her hair is definitely different. It's got more swoop to it. It actually looks a little bit more natural. Or comic booky, I should say, what I think of when I think of Wonder Woman. So if you skip that first release like I did, this may be your chance at another Figuarts Wonder Woman. On top of that, Tamashii Nations is teasing a Figuarts 1989 Michael Keaton Batman. I want to say that I'm surprised by this, but how many live-action Batman figures have we gotten in the past few years? And not just from Bandai, but from other companies. So while I'm kind of like, whoa, Bandai's doing 89 Batman, it's also kind of, well, okay. We knew it was coming. But I'm also guessing that, like most companies not called Hot Toys, we won't see a Jack Nicholson Joker here. Or maybe they'll surprise the hell out of us. Maybe they will throw enough money at them to say, hey, we're making this. I would love it. But it will definitely be interesting how this comes out and how it compares to the Mezco version. I don't think Bandai America has officially announced their Anime Hero Series 2 with My Hero Academia All Might, Midoriya, and Bakugo, but we've seen enough leak pictures at this point to make me go, oh, how's that going to compare to the other company figures I have? I have these over here, and this, and he's bigger, and it's smaller, and that. These seem to be trickling out overseas, though, and I was directed to a comparison shot this week on Instagram, and it's bigger than the McFarlane version. It's also buffer, the head's bigger, it's a little bubbly, it's a little soft, double elbows, so I'm interested. I want to see how this stacks up. And then, of course, we're still waiting for Kyoto to put up pre-orders for their amazing Yamaguchi All Might, see how that stacks up against all the other company offerings. It's a terrible problem to have when you have so many choices. Keeping with My Hero Academia, Good Smile Company put their Figma Totoro Key up for pre-order this week, and we had seen painted prototype pictures before this, so it's no surprise at how good it looks. It was just unexpected that it beat out Kirishima on the solicitation front. I'm not gropping though. When it comes to the students of this show, I think I like the Figma the most. They're a little bit restricted in articulation, but the overall look just nails it. Unless you look at the price. For $62, it seems a little bit, especially for the size of the figures, a little bit expensive. It comes with a fire piece for the arm, an ice ground effect where he's kicking, and then there are 3 face plates. There's indifferent, I'll allow a slight smile. Oh no, there's a little more emotion. And again, I do love the look of these, but for a third of the price, I can get the McFarlane figure, and then for another third of the price, I can get the Banpresto statues to swap the head out, and I'm still coming out ahead. But again, like I just talked about, that's the beauty of several companies doing the same property. There's a little something for everybody. You can mix and match and you get the All Might from here to put with the Midoriya here, or the Bakugo, or the Todoroki, or the Uraraka. It's okay to like something without having to justify it by tearing down somebody else's personal preferences, you know? Just like what you like, just enjoy what you got. My biggest problem is how not to buy every company's versions just so I can have comparisons. Terrible problems. NECA is being a big old meanie this week by showing more pictures of upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles offerings, like the 1990 movie Casey Jones and Raph in Disguise. Come on, I've been waiting 30 years for this. I know I can wait a little bit longer, but it doesn't help to see just how awesome they are and why I don't have them in my hand right now. Makes the heart a little fonder, makes me want them a little bit worse, better. I lost track of that sentence mid-ramble. Long story short, I need this Casey. They're also showing newer pictures of their Loot Crate Mirage Shredder. Like I said last week, I have the original set of Mirage Turtles from NECA. I have the April, but I never got the Shredder and the Foot. So I may need this to go along with that. Plus the blue makes it a little bit different from all the other Shredders we have. The blue is striking. I love the heavy shading. For all the details on that, go back to last week's weekly or lootcrate.com. If you pre-ordered the Hasbro Pulse exclusive GIJoe Classified Series Deluxe Snake Eyes, this is not news to you. You probably saw the email where it said they were going to start charging and shipping this week. Unless you're like me and didn't realize the Hasbro emails were going to a different folder in your inbox, and it wasn't until a PayPal notice came across that, hey, Hasbro took some money, and you're like, what did I order? But hey, these days getting a little new plastic in hand, not a bad thing at all. I have been charged, but I haven't gotten a shipping notice. But from what I've heard of Pulse, it may show up on my doorstep before I get that email. Either way, ooh, I need Snake Eyes. And then finally, a little bit of Marvel Legends leaked info. Now, you guys know me, I don't usually like diving too hard into this. There is so much Marvel Legends product coming at us these days that, hey, I can't even keep track of what we know, much less of what may happen. Plus, things are always subject to change. So when things do change and a list is out there, people get, hey, but what about this? I really wanted that. And now they canceled it, and then they ask Hasbro shows, and Hasbro can't comment on it because it was never announced in the first place. So it just swirling ball of but it seems a distributor in Spain put up some tidbits that kind of fall into what we knew, but it kind of expands on them a little bit. We knew about Old Man Logan and Hawkeye, them coming in a 2-pack sometime in the near future. They also have the Strong Guy Build-A-Figure Deadpool wave listed, and of course it has Deadpool. I can't remember if we've actually seen this figure. See, it's not just me getting old. Again, there is so much Marvel stuff coming, can't keep track. But they also list Warpath, Maverick, Sunspot, Deadpool Blue and Yellow. The list doesn't include Black Tom, which was revealed at Toy Fair a couple of weeks ago, but it does have Shiklah. Now everybody knows I haven't read comics in a while, but from what my exhaustive research turned up, Shiklah is a succubus who was married to Deadpool, but who has since moved on to Dracula. I got a lot of catching up to do. Either way, an interesting looking action figure possibility. Then there's the strange case of Rogue and Pyro? Hasbro revealed this Rogue that they have pictured on the distributor's website at Toy Fair a couple of weeks ago, but they didn't say how she would be released. This makes sense to put her in a 2-pack with Pyro because, boy, that old Toy Biz Pyro is in dire need of updating. But the monkey wrench here is that the site lists it as the 20th anniversary collection as they appear in the X-Men movies. Now that's definitely not Rogue's look from the movie. That's the promo pic we got couple weeks ago. Could the picture be wrong and it's actually a movie Rogue and Pyro, which is essentially like regular clothes? Or is the listing wrong, there's been some miscommunication or some wires crossed, and this is a comic book Pyro? Who knows? We're expecting it, but then waiting for it, and then there's going to be disappointed people, excited people, you know, and then they argue about it. And then another 2-pack listed that is actually one of my grails, and that is the first appearance Storm, again, revealed a couple of weeks ago. Again, wasn't told how she would come out, but according to this site, she's coming in a 2-pack with Thunderbird. To temper my excitement, I have to make myself remember that there's been a few characters with the Thunderbird mantle, but it's gotta be John Proudstar, right? We gotta get some more giant-sized X-Men, right? Right? I mean, this picture right here screams, make toys of this! And for all you crazy bastards out there who are saying that, well, it's Thunderbird, they can just reuse the Warpath body, shut your mouth. John was barely bigger than Cyclops. Does not fit Warpath's body, who is supposed to be big and 90s. This is my only chance at this Thunderbird, okay? And I've been waiting a long goddamn time for it. Do not mess this up. I want it one and done right. I know that's a weird place to make my stand with Thunderbird, who had so many appearances, but I don't know. Ever since I was a little kid, I've wanted Thunderbird. And that's it for this week. And let's just end it there before I get all violent and shit for Marvel Legends figure. If you're interested in seeing any of these pictures without me being all in front of it, I'll be posting that and more information, pre-orders, etc. on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. I'm feeling that I need a change or something. Do I new background music, new hat? Have I been home too much? Drinking too much caffeine? Maybe. But if you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe, or whatever the platform you're watching this on allows. Much love to the plus. If you haven't heard, Dorkside Toys is doing a weekly contest on there. So if you want to win some free toys, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. I got this in this week, and yes, I've had it before, and I'm sure I have it somewhere, but can't find it. I need all of these in action figure form. And I know it was the 90s, and I know I'm more of an 80s guy, but man, I need some Captain Britain. Well, we're actually ticking a lot of these off the list. Shadow Cat,